At Buffalo on a Monday night in prime time. We'll talk about that. Gators, are they headed for another loss? Are the Noles headed for another loss? Ooh, boy. And by the way, we are 1 week away from Georgia, Alabama.
Yes.
One of the games of the year in college football.
Without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, it's
9 days.
I honestly would say to me that game will really launch the season because it doesn't really feel like we've had much great action. Now, it's probably because the Gators and Noles are so terrible that it feels that way. But and this week's got a couple good ones. Certainly USC at Michigan and the Big Ten is intriguing. Tennessee at Oklahoma and the SEC is intriguing. But in terms of, we haven't yet to see two teams that legitimately could compete for the national title, and Georgia and Alabama certainly would qualify. So, yeah, getting close to what will be a gargantuan matchup.
I'll tell you that on Saturday night, I won't be depressed after Mississippi State puts 34-17 on, which is going to happen. I won't be depressed because I'll be prepared for it. There's a lot of games that I'm interested in. Florida State, Cal, I think is a very interesting game. Okay. Miami goes to Tampa to play the Brahman Bulls. You know, they used to be called the Brahman Bulls. Did you know that before they were the Bulls? So I'm going to call them the Brahman Bulls. And Tennessee, Oklahoma. That's 3 games. That's when you use that YouTube.
Yeah.
The fourth thing.
Yeah. Because I think they're all partners. So it should work out.
Yeah. So, but is that how that works?
I think so. I think usually it's got to be like within the network, the family of the network.
Okay.
Like, I don't think you could put on an NBC, a CBS, and an ESPN.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't.
I could be wrong, but it seems to me
right, like
it's all
because there was a Fox game that
ABC,
wasn't in that mix.
Yeah, ESPN.
Okay.
Well, I know at the NFL you can mix it.
Yeah. Yeah, but the YouTube
Fox, CBS, no problems.
But I think the YouTube. Well, you mean on YouTube TV?
Yeah.
Oh, then maybe you can then. Okay.
Well, we'll see.
But anyway,
I haven't on mine. I haven't figured out how to like pick the 4 college games that I want.
Yeah, I did. I just.
It just sort of gives me the option for the 4.
Oh, okay. So there's already like a preset.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's no chance I'll ever be smart enough to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it. But anyway, it will. To your point, however you're doing it, it will be a Saturday night. Will be
a lot of games.
Really good.
So you don't have a second screen, Frank? You don't have like 2 televisions?
I don't. I got one TV. I got a lot of rooms with one TV in them. But I do.
So you walk back and forth.
I don't mind flipping.
Yeah,
I've never. I guess growing up, I've never been I'm fine.
I was the greatest flipper of all time back in my day.
I can even tell you when I go to a sports bar, I'm almost sometimes distracted if there's too many. When I put the 4 on, if there's a game I want to watch, I don't do the 4. The
4's a lot,
right?
Because I can't. I want to watch my game. You know, I'd rather flip back and forth. You know, so no, I've got 1, 2, 3. I got 5 rooms with a TV, but no rooms with 2 TVs. So I don't have 2 TVs anywhere. So, but that's gonna be a good day to watch. Jags. I got a thought about the Jags. We'll get to that coming up in just a second. The Gator Bowl College Football Report with Greg McGarity comes up at 2:40. Hays is gonna have headlines in between the two, and then Rick Balo is gonna have an FSU report. Rick will join us every couple of weeks because he knows FSU better than anybody I know. So he'll be on the program at coming up at 3:20. So we got a lot of fun stuff to get to today. We'll be busy as we always are on a Thursday. As always on a Thursday, thanks to our friends at Stanley Pools. Always a Stanley Pools Thursday around here. All right, I thought about this with the Jags. And this is a connection to the Jags fan base, Hays. This is as it relates to the Jags, their fan base, their players, coaches, media that covers the team. They're 0-2, and people are greatly concerned. You hear the concern in the fan base. You hear people are concerned about. It's only been 2 games, right? Well, the reality is there's a realistic chance they're 0-4. But they're going to be underdogs to 2 highly regarded teams on the road in the next 2 weeks. They didn't make the schedule, but they are. They start the season with 4 playoff teams. I'm not making excuses. That's a fact. They have started this. Their schedule had them starting the season with 4 playoff teams that won 45 games between them, including 2 playoff wins last year, 3 of those games on the road. So I don't care. You could be the Kansas City Chiefs. That was a tough schedule to start. Agreed? I mean, you might have won more games if you were the Chiefs, but so it's a tough schedule. So I think the one thing that everybody's got to guard against is if they start out 0-4, 1-3, whatever, the world isn't coming to an end. They're still going to play those last 13 games. I think that's significant. Having said that, what I think is really critical find a way to split these two games. You with me on that? Find a way to split them. Now, winning them both would be great. But if you split the two games and come back and beat Indianapolis, which I think they will do, right now I could tell you I would pick them to beat Indianapolis. I don't know that I'm going to pick them either the next 2 weeks. But if you come back and if you split these games somehow and beat Indianapolis, you go to London 2-3. I do think they're going to win both those games. Then if you're 4-3, well, that's normal. Now you're a normal team. You're not an elite team through 7 games, but there's a lot of teams that would like to be 4-3 through their first 7 games. And so I still think what I said before, find a way to get to London 2-3. And I said that, by the way, before the season started. This isn't now that they've lost 2 games, I feel that way. We all knew those first 4 games were going to be hard. There was never a debate about that. The first 4 games were going to be hard. So find a way somehow, find a way to get to 2-3 and go to London that way, which means, Hays, you have to somehow split these next 2.
Yeah, and I think that they absolutely can do that. I kind of think they're going to win Monday night, just because it's the NFL and Buffalo. The other thing that I think could be interesting for Buffalo is I don't know that you want like a 10, 11-day layoff this early in the season. They beat the Dolphins on a Thursday night, and then obviously you're playing on a Monday. So that's a big break this early in the year. And so I am intrigued to see if that maybe works against the Bills a little bit. But this is your typical, like, everybody's going to pick the Bills, and then you look up at 11:30 Monday night, and the Jaguars have won the game. So the Jaguars are desperate. The Bills are not. I think that factors in as well. The Jaguars, I think, kind of have a sense of, we're kind of fighting for our season here to some extent, whereas Buffalo's gotten off to a fantastic start. They're certainly not feeling any of that pressure. I just think from an intangible standpoint, it actually lines up pretty good for the Jaguars. They still have to go out and do it, but I think they're going to use the up-tempo more. Trevor was asked about it today and said how much he's always enjoyed it. And I think defensively, they have proven that defensively they're good. To hold Miami to 20 and Cleveland to 18, I mean, that's 2 winning performances. Those should have been 2 wins. And so can offensively, if they do play with a little bit more tempo, obviously they won't be blindsided without having Evan Ingram. They'll have practiced a full week, and they'll have played a game and then practiced a full week without Evan, who doesn't look like he's going to be available, but we'll see. So I just think Christian Kirk's due for a huge game. I think Brian Thomas is the real deal. So I think a team on edge probably goes to Buffalo and gets the win, because that's just how the league works. And then obviously you'd love to beat Houston in Houston, but that's going to be a very tough ask. It's a divisional game. So, yeah, I mean, they need to get going. I mean, they need to feel the heat, but by no means do I think the season is derailed and can't be brought back onto the track. I mean, I actually think by the time we do Tuesday's show, I think it's a much rosier outlook in Jacksonville.
Well, certainly if they win, it is. If you're right about them winning, it certainly is. I would agree with that. We'll see if they win the game. I will say this about them. One of the stories, when we focus on the things that have gone badly, most importantly, didn't win either game, we lose sight of some of the things that have been good. We talked about concerns on the offensive front, the offense finding a rhythm, involving the receivers, better games for Trevor statistically. All that is in play. The back 7 of that defense has been fantastic. The secondary has been lights out. I mean, lights out. The Cleveland Browns scored 1 touchdown, and quite frankly, a horrendous call by the NFL, by the officials, that I think you'll see the NFL come out. I would expect this week you'll see the NFL, if they do such thing, to tell you they missed that call. A horrendous roughing the passer. Remember, it would have been 4th down. Now, they might have gone for it. They might have kicked a field goal. They completed the pass, but it would have been 4th and 6 or 4th and 8 or something like that. And then just an awful roughing the passer call on Devin Lloyd. A terrible call. I mean, like, there's so much else to get to, and I don't want to be that guy. But, Hays, that was a horrible call that the league knows they missed. And that's the only touchdown they scored. So the defense now, it was hard getting Cleveland off the field a little bit. That's got to get better. They haven't gotten a takeaway. That's got to get better. But that secondary, Monteric Brown was really good. Who saw that coming? We never talked about him. We talked about Darby, and obviously Tyson Campbell would be the starters. Savage was going to be the nickel. Jarian Jones was going to push everybody. But would Christian Braswell be good? Then he got cut. Nobody talked about Monteric Brown. He was really good in that. I think you'll see coaches and players say he was really good in that game.
Without a doubt, very physical, and it did a great job, obviously, with Tyson Campbell not out there. So, yeah, I mean, I still think there is a lot of good with the team. Offensively, is it too convoluted?
Something's the matter.
Yeah, it could be a myriad of things, and but I do think that my guess is they will go a little bit more play with pace, and I do think that helps Trevor. Probably because if there's a weakness in Trevor Lawrence's game, it is still, I think when they want to play deliberate, he kind of mentioned it today. When defenses, when they have time to get their call and get set and get to their exotic looks, it gives the Jaguars trouble. Why does it give the Jaguars trouble? Because it gives Trevor trouble. He just still doesn't see it as well as some other quarterbacks in this league see opposing defenses and what they're trying to do. And it's by no means all a Trevor issue, but it is something that as he plays more, you hope he gets better at. When you play with tempo, the defensive coordinator just has to get a call in. And it's going to be a simple call because you can't call something that's going to require significant communication pre-snap defensively. So, again, it would make sense for Doug Peterson and Press Taylor to hit the accelerator a little bit on the pace of which the offense is run. And I think it could, at least in the short term, really pay some dividends for them. Eventually opponents will catch up and they'll adjust. But for now, I think you could catch Buffalo a little off guard if that is a strategy that the Jaguars elect to employ.
All right, we'll talk a little bit more about that. What do they have to do to win? What do the Gators and Knowles have to do? Knowles talk coming up in the second hour of the program. We've got headlines coming up at the top of the next hour. Greg McGarity comes up in about 30 minutes or so. When we come back, though, we'll talk a little college football, Florida, Mississippi State style. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's truck season at Nimnick Chevrolet. Chevy trucks have what you need to get things done, like a brand new Silverado 1500. This month, you can save up to $10,000 off a new Silverado, or well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 1.9% financing and no payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Now, with the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. Remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $2,250 in trade assistance. You want an even better deal? Ask about demo models for deeper discounts. Shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership conveniently located at Park Street in Castle. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick.
It's like overtime, regardless of the score.
There's no overtime.
Oh, no overtime?
No.
The window world of Northeast Florida, fifth quarter.
Oh, wow.
After the game, join hacker Leon and Coach Campo. Presented by Von Rowan Law on 1010XL.
We're back. Mia here, and winning season is back. Football is back, and MyBookie is here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions, like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays, where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big. If it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. That's just the beginning, folks. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super, Survivor, and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for your shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus. When you're ready to get started, just use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit. You heard that right. Double your money with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Not to mention, loyalty pays off with MyBookie Plus. The more you play, the more you win. Climb through tiers of loyalty rewards programs to unlock even more epic promotions. Only with MyBookie.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Are you an experienced plumber or welder with MedGas certification and you're tired of being undervalued? It's time to make the move to Local 234 plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. With the best pay in the business, you'll earn $36.50 an hour with benefits that's almost $50. It's not just a job, it's a career that values you. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
David Garrard could really spin it on the field.
Garrard fires.
Now he's spinning stories on Jaguars Today.
Okay, yeah.
Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com. Mondays, 10 to noon on 1010XL.
Jacksonville contractors and business owners. Do you need chain link fence, commercial steel, or rolling doors? Frank Frangie here. Coyle & Sons has been in business in Jacksonville since 1927. They've earned the reputation of quality and specialized skill. Coyle & Sons are the ones trusted in Jacksonville by the top contractors, and they can stand on their reputation when you need almost 100 years of commercial contractor experience. So contact Coyle & Sons today. That's 904-356-4821 or visit them at coiljacks.com.
Hey, Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
Cold beer and good grub. That's what you'll get at Taps on 210. Just a great neighborhood feel where friends and family get together. Check out Taps in the Winn-Dixie Plaza, just west of 95 on County Road 210, proudly supporting our 9 After 5 weekly. Head there for a cold one.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists returns with their free bumps and bruises evaluation clinics. Now with 4 locations, these free injury assessments are open to all schools and athletic programs. Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 through October 26th at Cortex Sports Performance in Ponte Vedra, Preferred PT in Fleming Island, and also at Brooks Rehab on Centurion Parkway and Brooks Rehab at World Golf Village.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Are you ready to upgrade your home? Experience the winning combination of style and performance with Renewal by Andersen energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Buy one, get one 40% off replacement windows and doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires September 30th and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
Frangie and Carlyon La Selva with you. Tomorrow, by the way, tomorrow afternoon, we'll do our picks. Let me give you a picks update. Would you like one?
Oh, we got a picks update?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Here's the way it looks after 2 weeks. Hays Carlyon, he hails from the Bowl School. Gunner on that punt team.
Yep.
Kind of the outside, the right gunner. He was always the right gunner.
Never made a single tackle.
He's 8-8, 10 total points. He was 2-6 week 1 for 2 points. He was 6-2 because he had 2 game picker-uppers for extra points. So 6-2, 8 points, total of 10 points for Hays Carlyon. J.J. LaSelva from Ocala Forest University is 4-12 with 4 total points. He is 2-6 the first week, 2 points. He was 2-6 the second week, 2 more points. I am also 4-12 with 4 points. 2-6 the first week, 2 points. 2-6 the second week, 2 points. As for money balls, we haven't hit one yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So we
thanks a lot, Cleveland.
Okay, so we haven't hit a money ball yet, because we didn't pick the Jags with the other Jags week. And as for game picker uppers, you have the only 2. So 10-4-4. Do you feel confident that you can take that to a championship?
We do. The team has a lot of confidence. I've really tried to steer them away from press clippings, and we've turned down a lot of Sports Center interviews this week and NFL Network and the New York Times. Yeah. I mean, it's early for that. My message was stay on task. It's early. And so, yes, we're very satisfied with what's happened so far, but we realize there's a lot of football left. And so far, I've been pleased with the team. It seems like they've got a good focus. I like what they're coming up with for these big games in our third week here. So, a lot can happen, but I like the start.
Good answers across the board. Some would suggest that you're really not that good or haven't played that well, but have a really weak schedule. That the competition is not significant. Can you confirm or deny that belief?
I got with Lane Kiffin in the offseason.
Yeah.
And I said, what's the key, Lane?
Right.
And he said, open with 4 of the weakest opponents you can find, which is what Ole Miss has done.
And you have 2 pretty weak opponents too. So
but I mean, that's just by chance.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you, the 2 teams that we go against, I mean, they can at any moment. They can just come at you and slit your throat. So, I mean, the second that we take our foot off the gas or think, hey, we've got all the answers, these 2 teams are gonna bury us in the dirt. So, I mean, I would say that we've been lucky so far in the sense that I think the other 2 clubs are kind of trying to find themselves a little bit, and obviously we'll see them throughout the year, and they're going to get a lot better.
Yeah, and I will say it does speak something of the competition when you were 8-8 overall. And in commanding spot, total command of the board. Just so you know, total command. JJ, that tells you kind of how good we are, just in case you're wondering. So, 10 points to 4 points to 4 points. So there you go. So
I want to know what does JJ do to kind of rally?
JJ, how do you rally here? I mean, you're tied for me in dead last place.
I don't know. Win more games. Sorry, I'm not good with this bit.
I get it. So you are, you're good with the fact that you and I are tied for last. You got that part figured out, right? That part you do know.
Absolutely.
We're in JJ and I are in dead last place, so there is that. So we'll try and do better this week. All right, Gators go to Mississippi State. Look, here's the bottom line. I did not watch Mississippi State lose to Toledo, and they lost at home 41-17 to a MAC team. I don't know if Toledo's good. I don't know if they're a good MAC team.
They're well coached. Justin Candle's been there a long time, and he's been a guy really throughout the last 5 or 6 years that you'll hear pop up with these, bigger jobs. And for whatever reason, he's never left. I don't know whether he just is always the bridesmaid in the search or if he's, wanted to stay at Toledo maybe longer than most people would. But they've got an established, well-respected coach at Toledo. So I wouldn't put a ton of stock in Mississippi State getting, buried 41-17 in terms of them being god awful. I'm sure they're a bad team, but that's not a surprise. But I don't see a team that is helpless, particularly when this version of the orange and blue is traveling to Starkville.
Yeah. So and I just don't think Florida's got very many good players. Trey Wilson's out again. That's a little bit of a concern. I mean,
it's a huge concern. I mean, he's probably their best player.
Yeah, I mean, and I worry
He had surgery allegedly.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
So he's done as a Florida Gator probably.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Did I miss that?
I have not heard that it's season ending.
No, I haven't heard that either. But
I hear your
I'm
point.
just
Yeah. Well, I mean,
assuming why would he play for y'all? He could be a red shirt. He could transfer, have another year of eligibility.
I doubt he cares too much about his red shirt because he's probably going to enter the draft after next year regardless, when his first year that he can. Now, I mean, who knows? I mean, I get where you're going with this is he's lost faith in the coaching staff and why would I play for Florida?
Which is a valid.
And that may be where it ends up, but I don't know that his injury is season ending.
Yeah.
If it is, then Billy Napier has not hinted at that in the least. And normally when a player's out for the year, he says that.
Yeah, I will say this. It ran what JJ just said ran through my mind is the possibility. Does the possibility exist? He said, "Look, my coach is about to get fired. We're not beating anybody. I got an NFL career.
I'm obviously not 100%.
Right, I'm not 100%, and I got big NIL dollars waiting somewhere. There's no question about that. Do I just take care of my body and go play next year? I mean, I hope that's not the case, but I got to be honest. It ran through my mind. What JJ said ran through my mind at the very least.
Well, so this is 15 minutes ago. Sorry, but this is from Zach Abelverdi.
Okay, yeah, that's right. He does a good job.
Okay, so he said starting wide receiver Eugene Wilson III underwent surgery this week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, he did.
To repair a meniscus.
Okay. So he's out for a good while. I mean, it may be out for the year.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's
breaking news.
That's certainly tough news. I would say this. At halftime of the Samford game, it was clear that Wilson was livid, that he had not gotten a touch in that first half.
Right.
And remember, Florida was only up 14-0. It's not like they were up 38-0. So it was a tight game, and he was obviously upset when they headed to the locker room. And then so much so that, if you remember, Florida gave him a touch on their first snap of that second half. They just brought him in motion and handed him the ball. So, I mean, I could see him being disappointed with how he, not maybe his workload because they've used him a lot, but just disappointed in how things are going. And now with this news, maybe he doesn't play again. I think Florida will. I don't think they'll lose him because of NIL because I think Florida will match whatever he could get out there, but he could elect to take the Trevor Etienne path of. Look, I want to play for a team that has a chance to win the whole thing.
That's right.
No matter who Florida hires, Florida could hire a combination of Vince Lombardi and Bill Walsh.
That's right.
They're not winning a title next year. The Florida will be lucky. Whoever gets this job, they will be lucky to win 8 games next year.
Yeah. Oh, there's no question. I mean, it's clear now they don't have a lot of good players. I mean, above the coaching and this and that and all the other stuff and stuck in his ways and doesn't have a sideline knack and all that. When the other team runs for 310 yards against you, you don't have good players. That's not scheme. That's not did you not coach your linebackers to fill the right gap. When the other guy when teams move as easily against them as both Miami and Texas A&M did. Texas A&M, I'll give you a pass on Miami. They have a really good quarterback. He's probably a first-round draft pick. Mario Cristobal's built a really good offensive line. That's one thing. Texas A&M, they have a quarterback who had never played virtually, a running quarterback who had virtually never played, and he was making guys miss like it was a video game.
He looked like Jaden Daniels.
He did, and so he's not that. He's not. So the one thing we all missed, and I said it before, and I'll say it 1,000 times again, and it'll show up again on Saturday. They had guys that played prominent roles on the line of scrimmage last year. On whatever line, Jake Slaughter last year is the center. Damian George, one of the offensive linemen last year. On the Cam Jackson on the defensive line. Caleb Banks on the defensive line. Big Dez on the defensive line. They had a lot of guys that played Cersei and whoever else. Cameron James played a little. They weren't good last year. And then I'm the guiltiest. I was guilty of talking myself into suddenly they're good. Well, it doesn't work like that. Some guys get better the more years they're there, but you don't go from being a 4-win line to being a 9-win line. And I can't imagine, even if Mississippi State isn't very good, they scored 56 in their first game. They went toe-to-toe with Arizona State on the road in the desert in their second game, and then they laid an egg last week. So I can't imagine, and this is probably probably the most winnable game left on the schedule. I mean, I'm trying to think, is UCF more winnable?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think this is probably the most winnable game left on their schedule. And I would be shocked, not surprised, shocked if they won that game. There's no mystery in my picks this week, bro. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm picking Mississippi State as well. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't know if you're Florida, what you hang your hat on. I respect the Vegas boys and girls, and they set these lines, and it is incredible how often these lines are dead on when you see the outcome of a game. I don't see how Florida is a 6-point favorite in this game. I mean, the only thing you could remotely, I guess, attach it to is they're expecting Graham Mertz to have a highly efficient game, but Florida's defense, it's horrific. I mean, it is an abomination what Florida's defense has become. I have no confidence that they can stop any SEC offense.
Right.
And so I haven't watched Mississippi State. I probably haven't watched Mississippi State play a football game in 3 years. But I would be astounded if Florida goes to Starkville, where they have lost with great teams.
Yeah.
And if they're able to come back with a victory, I will be stunned.
We'll take a break. More college football talk coming up. The Gator Bowl College Football Report is next. Greg McGarity is here, the executive director of the Gator Bowl. That's next, so stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Hey, it's Matt Hays. The seasons are shifting, but we're not done with the summer heat just yet. And you better believe your AC is still working hard. So do what I did and call the good folks at Fenwick Home Services and stay stress-free with a seasonal tune-up. Don't wait until the wear and tear of the summer heat causes major issues. Book your tune-up with Fenwick's expert technicians to avoid those costly breakdowns. You can trust Fenwick to get your AC running again and get it done right the first time. Book online at FenwickHomeservices.com.
Are you still asking the question, why Arlington? Lucky for you, I've got all the answers. Mia here. Arlington's lot is packed with new Toyotas in stock in one location, ready to go home with you today. 60-day exchange. That's 60 days to love your new Toyota purchase or exchange it for one that you do. Worried about financing? There's the Arlington Credit Helper. You even get a complimentary car wash with every service. So instead of asking, why Arlington? I'm going to ask, why aren't you here yet? 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or at arlingtontoyota.com.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Mia here. When it comes to roofing, whether it be shingles, metal, or most repairs, there is one name that has protected your home since 1999. Pro-Jax Roofing. Serving all of Northeast Florida, Mike and his guys have been repairing and replacing roofs for 25 years. Need insurance help? Mike's team can help. Raised in a military family, Mike provides great attention to detail with unparalleled quality and workmanship. They also have warranties, so you can have peace of mind. Call Mike today for a free estimate or online at projaxroofingfl.com.
He thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Of course.
Find out if he does.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball presented by FIS is home all weekend at 1-1 Financial Ballpark for the final games of 2024. It's Coors Light Thirsty Thursday tonight, plus Military Appreciation presented by Swisher. Tomorrow's Red Shirt Friday and fireworks on Hispanic Heritage Night presented by Florida Blue. The first 2,000 fans Saturday get a Scampi plushie with more fireworks presented by FIS and VyStar. Then it's Baptist Health Sunday Family Fun Day season finale.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
Frank Frangie here, and it's time to beat Big Joe. Each week, my buddy Big Joe from Bono's Barbecue will pick 10 college football games. Pick more wins than Big Joe that week. You'll get entered into a drawing to win a $25 Bono's gift card. If you pick more wins than Joe all season long, you'll be entered to win the grand prize: 2 tickets to the SEC Championship game, 2 tickets to the Dr. Pepper tailgate party, and $1,500. Enter to win on the Bono's app. The contest ends on November 23rd. Grand prize winner will be named on the 25th. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about putting your worries in the right bucket. So often we put our worries in our own bucket, but many times they need to be in God's bucket. The Bible says, present your problems always to God. In other words, leave them in God's bucket. Understand that no matter what is out of your control, it's never out of the control of Almighty God.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors, and with great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? How about scheduling a free consultation or just stop by the Pella showroom right there on Phillips Highway next to Tesla? Pella's professional consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. From simple projects to complex renovations, their team has the experience needed to make your project a success. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
This is Dr. Michael Iorio, internal medicine physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Doug Peterson this morning on his evaluation of Trevor Lawrence.
I guess to if you evaluate, Trevor, and I know the quarterback position and gets a lot of scrutiny, I think, but there's a lot of issues that we have to. I say a lot. There's a few issues that we need, just assignment errors that need to be fixed. Obviously, I think he's done a good job. Can he be better? Yeah, he can be better.
Doug Peterson, courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The College Football Report is presented each week by the Gator Bowl with Executive Director Greg McGarity. Here's Greg with the Frangie Show crew.
Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon, J.J. LaSelva, and our friend Greg McGarity is here. Where were you in 1979?
I was in Athens.
Yeah?
Losing record for the Dogs.
They were. Florida was 0-10-1. Do you know that?
I didn't know that.
I was a junior. I went to every game, pretty much drunk every game. True story. I was even drunk on Parents' Weekend when my mom was sitting up there with me.
That's not a good thing.
That's something to brag about, isn't it, Hayes?
Yeah.
That's
sounds like a wonderful college experience.
I don't think I'd have told that story.
Yeah, that's true. 0-10, we were 0-10-1. It was It was a painful 0-10-1. It was very painful. So, all right, let's start with the Gators. How surprised are you that it's this bad in game? I mean, you follow it. You talk to people. You know all the people down there. Are you as shocked that they're this bad?
Well, I'm surprised at the level of play and the execution piece and really teams coming into the swamp and dominating. That to me is probably the most heartbreaking thing to see about it is the lure of the swamp and the way it used to be. It just doesn't have that lure anymore at this present time.
It almost feels like what Florida's going to have to endure is almost unprecedented in the sense that everyone knows Billy Napier is going to get fired. But because he's built such a subpar staff, they don't really feel comfortable turning it over to anybody. So you end up in this 2-month span where it's like, I guess you just try to batten down the hatches as much as you can and block out the noise. But it seems like that Napier will probably, I don't know, maybe even coach the whole year, even though everybody knows on December 2nd he is not going to be the coach.
It's just very difficult to manage right now because if you did make a change, then you got the other 9 or 8 coaches and the support staff. They're already focused on next year. Where are they going to be? So there's not a good solution other than to, I think you almost have to not ride it out, but go ahead and do the best you can under the certain circumstances and hope it works out. And at some point in time, if it doesn't, make an announcement. But anytime you have an interim head coach, it just creates problems all the way around.
Yeah, expound on what you said before. If you fire Billy Napier and make whoever the interim coach, you got a bunch of assistants. You know this better than I do because you've lived it. You've been an athletic director and an associate athletic director when this went on. Your assistants are what? Looking for other jobs? Your players are waiting for NIL money to be scooped up in the portal? How's that whole thing go?
Well, that's the problem is if you've got a staff that size, which now including everybody that touches football is 75 to 100 people probably. Everybody is really concerned about where they're going to be at the end of the year.
Sure.
And so you have people that are not focused solely on the purpose of making the program the best it can be. Now, some can manage that, but very few individuals are able to have that level of focus because human nature kicks in.
Yeah.
If you know things are going to change, then your mind is elsewhere. And the players' minds, I can't imagine what their life would be. You know, they may start shopping right now as far as next year. And so it just creates so many problems and so many unintended consequences that it's just extremely difficult to navigate. It'd be very difficult to live in that world.
And I even wondered, Hays, even now, okay, you haven't fired the coach and brought in the interim, but everybody knows you're going to. Yeah, and now you made a good point, I think this week, but you made a good point. It doesn't appear he's lost the locker room. They still like him. They still believe in him. I think that. But don't you think? I think it's kind of that way now. They're all thinking about the next school. It would have to be.
I would think he'd have to be, but I would try to keep up the illusion for them if I was Florida's leadership of, look, guys, it's been 3 games. We have 9 more left. Let's see what happens. No decisions have been made. Give Coach Napier and his staff, give them everything you can give them, and let's just see where this thing goes. It seems like that's the better route than firing Napier now, as much as the fans want him relieved of his duties now. It just seems like it's not – there's no one on that staff that's going to lift up this team. This team is dead on arrival. So to Greg's point, I think stability makes the most sense of avoiding just an utter catastrophe of can you even field a team by the time you get to that 11th or 12th game, because everyone is checked out and the morale is so low.
Yeah, and who knows? I think fans in general, like just watching the Jags, they want to see effort. They want to see people that are passionate to play the game. And I think if the results had been a little bit closer or not as lopsided as they are, I think you wouldn't be happy with it, but at least you'd feel like everything was left on the field. And as an athletic director, that's what I would be looking at, the effort. Are the kids still excited to play? And so there's always hope, but certainly it creates difficult situations when you're losing the way they're losing.
Greg, you've been in the SEC around your entire career. Your whole career is SEC. Is this the best it's ever been? 6 of the top 7 teams in the AP poll are from the SEC. 6 of the 7.
I was doing some projecting here, and right now 6 teams are up in the SEC in the top 12. They'd be in the college football playoff right now. I've got plenty of time to predict now and doodle. Okay,
yeah. Doodle guy.
And let's just assume Texas goes 12-0.
Okay.
I think you could have a scenario where you've got 4 teams that go 11-1.
Okay. Georgia could only lose to Texas.
Well, Georgia's got Alabama too.
Yeah,
Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss. So I mean they're in probably the toughest spot to advance. Missouri, I think they only play Oklahoma. That's they don't play anybody else in that grouping up there.
Okay.
So they just beat Oklahoma, and they're in. I think they're at Oklahoma.
Okay.
But teams are going to knock each other off. But you could play that game to where if you took those other teams and keep Georgia out of it right now, take the other 4 teams, not Texas, but the other 4. I don't know what you do and who plays in Atlanta on that second team.
Isn't that amazing?
Second team.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. It could end up being Missouri because of the lack of resistance.
Right.
Because what happens when you have Texas and Oklahoma, that's a loss.
Yeah.
For almost every team. If you're not in that top 6 right now, maybe count LSU. For the other teams in the conference, it's probably going to be a loss.
Greg, look at the Gator Bowl. Who are we looking at? Well, what's this week?
Well, we've got, it's really critical for the SEC to have as many bowl eligible teams as possible. So that's why the game this weekend, Mississippi State, Florida, is a huge game for bowl eligibility. Just like Auburn, Arkansas may not have a lot of eyes on the nation, but we can't have a lot of SEC teams with less than 6 wins.
Okay.
That is not good for us. I'm not worried about it on the ACC side because whoever's up, maybe 1 or 2, then we're right in line for the next pick.
Right.
We're down the line a little bit with the SEC, and if you take 5 teams out, my gosh, and that are going to play in the college football playoff, and teams that aren't eligible, you're looking at 6 or 7 teams that may be in our pool. So
it's in your best interest. Honestly, you won't feel this way because you could work at Florida for so long. But it's really your best interest for Mississippi State to win that game because they're way more likely to get to 6 or 7 wins in Florida, right? I mean, you're not going to say, does that make sense?
Prognosticating, yes, but I think everybody wants to see Florida get 6 wins. Everybody wants to see that in our organization.
6 wins just this season or like in the next 3 combined?
No, to get there this year, if there was a way, because we're healthier that way. I think college football is healthier if Florida and FSU are legitimate teams. And right now, we just don't have that.
But after watching them, you watched them. There's no chance they get to 6. I mean, FSU could get to 6. They may not, but they could. And I probably would bet that they're not, but they could. Florida, there's no chance.
There's no chance Florida's getting to 6 wins.
Yeah. So
no, but I get your point. I mean, Mississippi State, isn't exactly.
Yeah. Well, Mississippi State is 2-1.
The bell of the ball.
I'm sorry, no, they're 1-2. They may not get there either.
No.
By the way, I just realized this. After, can I give you Mississippi State schedule? Okay. After Florida, at Texas, at Georgia. How's that going to work out?
Wow.
Yeah. That's
at Texas, at Georgia, then Texas A&M at home. My goodness. Then, oh, by the way, later on at Tennessee, at Ole Miss. How about Mississippi State schedule? Let me give Mississippi State schedule.
Yeah.
Let me give you Let me give you their 4 road games: at Texas, at Georgia, at Tennessee, at Ole Miss.
Was at Kansas City not available?
I guess it's not. I mean, I didn't realize their schedule. They're not okay. Greg, they're not getting to 6 either.
I don't think so.
They're not getting to 6 either.
We got them dark on our board.
Knock them off.
And then the other part of this that's so incredible is FSU's fall. Here, Mike Norvell goes and wins 19 games in a row, and he gets this huge contract, and you think they've got their guy for maybe the next 20 years, and now, I mean, they offensively are completely lost. Who knows what they do against Cal on Saturday? So that's a whole other – Florida can at least fix they're going to try to fix their problem in December. But I don't think we've ever seen anything like this where a coach has a 19-game winning streak, gets a huge extension, and now you're wondering, do you have the right guy? But you're handcuffed to him for at least 2 years, I would think. 2 more years beyond this one if you're Florida State.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought that Mike Norvell's seat would be toasty.
Yeah.
And I don't think it should be right now, but certainly once they didn't make it last year, it's just sort of turned the tables. I don't know whether that funk still exists or whatever. but something's not right there as far as the way things are going. They're too talented to have that many bust as they do.
What's going on with the Gator Bowl these days? Where you going? What games you visiting? What's going on with?
Well, we actually have 2 individuals going to Oklahoma. It's the first time the Gator Bowl has scouted Oklahoma.
Right.
We have individuals going to the Texas-Mississippi State game next weekend. So it's pretty exciting for our membership. We've got a couple that are going out on the West Coast, not this weekend, but the wine country at this time of year, if they're going to see Cal or Stanford, pretty good trip out there. So, but North Carolina State at Clemson's a big game. We'll have people there. Also, we'll have some people at FSU for Cal. We're still holding out hope for that. But that's kind of where we're going to be this weekend, other than just watching some really impactful games.
All right. So, final thing, got any gut the kind of team? Is it too early to have a gut of who might be in play for you? Is it too early for that?
I think so, because I think this, it's a big weekend again for Auburn and Arkansas. They can't. Neither team can afford a loss. Not as much conference, but getting to 6 wins. You look at Arkansas's record. Yeah, that is really tough for them. They may not be favored in any games. I don't think they play Vandy.
And he could get it before Napier.
Yeah, absolutely. Does the bringing a team back that's been here recently, does that go off the board if there are just so many 6-6 teams?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you would still get SEC even if that team was here recently.
SEC,
if that's how it had to go.
ACC is more prescriptive to where Clemson couldn't come here, but Kentucky, if the chips fell where they may, and Kentucky or South Carolina were the only 2 teams that fit, sure they could come back.
You're right, by the way. I just looked at it. Arkansas gets to play Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas, and at Missouri. So they it's a hard league. There's no question about it.
Yep.
Greg McGarity from the Gator Bowl. Great work as always. Greg, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Hays has headlines on the other side. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
You could win a weekly tailgate combo pack from Southern Steer Butcher. Wow. Valued at $100. And monthly winners get a Corona tailgate tent with a cooler, chair, and collectible football. It's the ultimate tailgate. Enter at 1010XL.com. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Embrace the start of football season with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a double bonus. For a limited time, MyBookie will double your money on your first deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 5.5-point underdog at Buffalo. The over-under is 45.5 points. The Gators are a 6-point road favorite against Mississippi State. The Noles are a 2.5-point home favorite over Cal. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it is a double bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Who has the best lineup this season? Honda. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, hybrids, and electric. This is one of the greatest lineups Honda has ever had. And now is the best time to purchase or lease one. Visit your local Honda dealer now. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda.
Liquid Sunshine, a car wash committed to superior customer service. Like including bug prep done for you every time. Experience the difference, starting at just $10 at Liquid Sunshine Car Wash on Southside near Hogan Road.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically, if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
Hey, there's a lab-grown diamond and jewelry sales event going on right now at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Monahan's is known for its natural diamonds and gemstones, but we've had so much demand for lab-grown diamonds that now through the end of September, Monahan Jewelers is having a lab lab-grown diamond and jewelry sales event. We've brought in a huge selection of lab-grown diamonds and jewelry to meet this incredible demand. Lab-grown diamond sales event now through the end of September at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Pickett here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
If you're looking for the best in indoor air quality, I've got the experts to call. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jaguars, specializing in the best air quality for your home or work with the Remy Halo. Instead of waiting for pollutants to travel through the ductwork to be neutralized, the Halo cell releases friendly oxidizers every time your fan blows air, helping those in your home that suffer from allergies and other respiratory issues. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and start enjoying cool comfort and clean air.
It's time to take it back to the 90s, Jags fans. Be at the bank Sunday, October 6th as we debut our Prowler throwback jerseys against the Colts and induct legendary head coach Tom Coughlin into the pride of the Jaguars at halftime. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. You're not going to want to miss this matchup. Lock in your seats now by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing sports. Fall and winter registration is underway. Log on to i9sports.com and see all they've got to offer. Kids 3 and up. You can enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for fall and winter. Great locations added like Fort Family Field, Westside Middle, and Duval Charter Bay Meadows. It's all online at i9sports.com.
Who was the first baseball player to appear on a Wheaties box?
Having the right homeowner's policy protection means you're staying on top of your most valuable possession, your home. For information on finding an agent, go to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
Lou Gehrig was the very first baseball player and athlete, for that matter, to appear on a Wheaties box in 1934.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
The average cost associated with childhood cancer is a startling $833,000. This is Tom Coughlin, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Help the J Fund raise awareness to help our neighbors and community members tackling this devastating disease. Visit tcjfund.org/September for more information.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
Hi, I'm Frank Frangie, and I've depended on South State for my banking needs as long as they've been serving Duval. Whether you're saving for retirement, purchasing a home, starting a business, your goals are their commitment. With forward-thinking, personalized banking solutions and best-in-class service, South State is ready to help you navigate your financial journey. Connect at southstatebank.com or drop by any of the 5 local South State offices. South State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. Brought to you by Baker Glass. The FSU Seminoles are still in search for their first win of the season as they kick off against the California Golden Bears this weekend in Tallahassee. Head coach Mike Norvell met with the media after yesterday's practice, reviewing how the team has progressed during the week.
I thought today was a real solid day. I thought our defense had one of their better practices. Felt just the energy, the approach that guys were extremely competitive. I like what they did, and they were doing it with good communication rotation. You felt their presence and how they practiced today. Still things to clean up there offensively. Had some drop balls, some missed throws, some missed opportunities. We've had a few guys that that have had to go down, and it's opened doors of opportunity for guys. That's one thing that I've challenged them with. Is that, man, you get your opportunity, you better make it stick.
The Knowles kick off Saturday at 7 o'clock. It's 86 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva here. I am Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell and Harrell. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, Doug Peterson met with reporters earlier today and was asked if he's considering changing offensive personnel, and he said, not right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't think. I told you that yesterday, too. I think it's too early to make changes. There's not a lot you can make. Does Walker Little get a chance? That was the thing you brought up. Other than that, I don't think there's a lot of move. In an NFL roster, there's not a lot of guys. You build your roster, so I wouldn't think personnel moves are the ones the thing to do at this point.
Peterson was asked for an injury update. Looks like Evan Ingram probably is iffy at best for Monday night with the hamstring. Darnell Savage looks like he could be available, so for some good news there. And Tank Bigsby, it sounds like from Doug, indications are Tank will be fine to play.
Yeah, I got the impression talking, and they won't announce till game day, but I got the impression talking to him is what you just said. Savage and Bigsby will play, and they're waiting to find out on Evan, and I guess there's a chance he does.
Trevor Lawrence also spoke with reporters today and really talked up tight end Brenton Strange, the second-year veteran. He said, Brenton has been working in the dark for a while, obviously behind a great player in Evan Ingram, but I've always had a lot of trust in him. And I did think that was one of the bright spots of the loss, is that Brenton Strange looked like the kind of player that maybe can be a foundational piece for you in the next 3 or 4 years.
And here's what can happen. You signed Evan Ingram to an extension. At some point, you're going to be able to play them together. Now you've got two Luke Farrell's a good physical blocker, but he's not a pass-catching threat. It'd be nice to see Strange and Ingram play together, two tight ends who can catch the football. That won't happen this week if they don't have Ingram. We'll see. But at some point, it is going to happen.
We'll get it to around the NFL. The Panthers say they will not trade quarterback Bryce Young.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. He's a first overall pick. He's young. His
value is as low as it possibly could be.
Right. So that's 100%, JJ. If you were going to trade him, it wouldn't be today. But I don't look. I think he's a good player. The biggest problem is he's a little guy. His arm's just okay. I mean, he's a really little guy, and I think physicality is part of it. One of the reasons I was surprised he went as high as he did.
No doubt about it. Week 3 starts tonight. Patriots at Jets. Each team is 1-1. Who do you like?
The Jets, and I like the fact that people are going to get to see Aaron Rodgers. You know, the nation really hasn't seen him. He got hurt right away when he got there last year. They haven't had a nationally televised game this year.
Yeah, they were Monday night week 1.
Oh, I guess they weren't they? You're right about that. But it just seems like tonight there's more talk about Aaron. I wouldn't mean funny. I want to watch Aaron Rodgers, lock in and watch Aaron Rodgers in this game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I think the Jets will win pretty comfortably as well. But I am intrigued to see what it looks like in the AFC East there. Let's get to college football. JJ brought this up earlier in the show. Zach Ablaverdi reporting that Gators receiver Trey Wilson underwent knee surgery. Yeah. Billy Napier's obviously hasn't commented on this and isn't available to reporters until after the Mississippi State loss on Saturday. So no official word there. But boy, just another disappointing bit of news there for the Gators.
Yeah, for a team that doesn't have many stars, maybe the best player on the team. He might be the best. Let me rephrase that. With Trevor Etienne gone, he is the best player on the team. The best player on their team, the one real star they've got, a bit of a game changer, is now down. If the rumors are correct, and it's meniscus tear. You know, it used to be trim up your cartilage and play in a week or two. Not anymore. That could shelve him for all or most of the season. Boy, the hits keep coming, don't they?
They really do. Texas has announced that Arch Manning will start Saturday's game against Billy Napier's next team, Louisiana Monroe. Quinn Ewers is out with an oblique injury.
Well played.
Thank you.
Boy, talk about an embarrassment of riches. They're both really good. Quinn Ewers could be the top pick this year. I mean, he really could be the top pick. He may not be, but there's a chance. I've seen some mocks that have him 1-1. He's going to be in the top 5 or 10 picks, and Arch Manning in 2 years could be the same thing. And that is an embarrassment of riches. I will tell you that.
It really is. The Longhorns are just absolutely loaded. Let's get it to Major League Baseball. NL wildcard race. Both the Braves and Mets win last night, so Atlanta remains 2 back of the Mets and Diamondbacks for that final postseason berth.
Braves just won today, by the way.
And the
they
Braves
did.
won
Oh, there
today.
you go.
It's the most fun. They play Cincinnati, right? It's the most fun pennant race for me. Listen, my team's dog meat. They're no good. Most of the teams that are still fighting, I don't care about. This has been a fun race. I hope they go back and forth to the final day. I think it's going to be a very good postseason. From a pennant race standpoint, there's not much there. So this is there, and it'll be fun to watch. It really will. It'll be fun to watch.
By the way, the Phillies play the Mets, like he said, so I will be forced to cheer for the Phillies
How
this
about
weekend.
that? That'd be painful, won't it?
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting. So are the Phillies still, are they still playing for something?
Nah, no.
Okay.
I mean, they haven't officially clinched, but they've clinched.
Yeah. And they can't really improve their seed, or they can?
I'm not sure about that, honestly.
The Brewers clinched the NL Central last night. How cool was it seeing 90-year-old Bob Uecker in the clubhouse celebrating,
And
getting
great
champagne sprayed all over
and
him?
Pat Murphy, the manager, made a point to make sure he got to enjoy that. And I'll tell you what, Craig Counsell leaves the Brewers to coach to manage the Cubs. That was a controversial story. All the Brewers do is promote Pat Murphy, who had been a bench coach, and he makes them maybe as good as they've ever been. He might be a better manager. He remember, longtime college guy. He was a manager at he was a head coach at Notre Dame, head coach at Arizona State. Found his way to pro. That doesn't happen very often. College coaches don't wind up as major league managers very often. That's almost never. I don't think I can think of one other time it's happened, and he's done a great job.
And they have the best, I think, run differential in baseball, and their lineup and rotation is not exactly like a list of guys that you would know.
Yeah. If the Braves don't make it, I'm pulling for the Brewers because of Bob Uecker. I'd like to see him win a championship.
Me too.
Yeah. Dodgers phenom Shohei Ohtani stole his 49th base last night. He now has 48 home runs and 49 steals as he attempts to become baseball's first 50-50 player.
Well, he's going to get the steals. You can steal a base in 10 games. You'll find.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah, that's
way
right.
Easy.
Yeah, it really is. I think he'll hit 2 more home runs. You don't know that. Home runs aren't easy. But my guess is he'll do 50-50. And by the way, Hays, I'm not sure you'll ever see another player do it again. I don't know. I won't say you definitely won't. But I don't know that you're going to see that again. I don't know who else could do that. I mean,
Ronald last year did 40 and 70.
Yeah, okay.
So if he, I don't think he will either. 50 is a lot for him. Yeah. But I think if anyone could, it'd probably be him.
Acuna,
or Mookie, maybe.
I always thought Mookie Betts would do it. Would be the one that could do it. And
but
you're
his
right.
stolen bases have fallen off recently.
And
Mookie.
you're right. A good point on Acuna. He certainly could. But you're not. Let's put it this way. I'd be surprised if somebody else does 50-50.
I agree.
What's so shocking to me about it is Ohtani, with his 49 steals, is second in baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, second. He's a pitcher. He's a power hitter. And oh, by the way, he can finish second in stolen bases in a season.
And imagine this.
That's incredible to me.
And imagine this. If he didn't blow the elbow, he'd probably have 14, 15 wins as a pitcher. That's unheard of. It really is. It's unheard of.
It is incredible. We will get to pop culture now because on this date, 34 years ago, this happened.
It's just, you're just funny. It's funny, the way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how? I mean, what's funny about it?
Tommy, you got it all wrong. Eh?
Oh, Anthony. He's a big boy. He knows what he said. What'd you say?
You're right.
Funny how? What?
Just, you're funny.
You mean, so? Let me understand this, because maybe it's me, I'm a little, maybe. But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you, I make you laugh, I'm here to fucking amuse you. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Not just, how you tell a story. What?
No, I don't know. You said it. How do I know? You said I'm funny. How the fuck am I funny? What the fuck is so funny about me? Tell me. Tell me what's funny.
Get out of here, Tommy.
Okay, I almost had him.
Brilliant scene.
Great scene.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese.
Scary scene.
It is scary.
Yeah.
And it's really well done because Henry is who you're watching the movie through, who obviously is the one that tells Tommy, Joe Pesci's character, how funny he is. So when Joe Pesci, who by this point in the movie you kind of have figured out is a total psycho, when he starts in, it's like he's talking to you because you identify with Henry more than any other character in the movie.
And you're like, what would I say in that?
Yes.
And the other guys at the table are like, whoa, he's losing it now.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, is he joking? Is he not? Because all the other guys at the table don't think he's joking.
Correct. It is brilliantly done, as is the whole movie. It is a masterpiece if you've never seen Goodfellas. It was released in 1990 on this day, nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Joe Pesci did win for Best Supporting Actor.
I like Goodfellas better than any of the Godfather movies. Maybe I'm in a minority.
No, I think I think it's a pretty good split. I love them all, but I certainly I
think
understand
Goodfellas is magnificent.
Yeah,
it's magnificent.
The one-liners in that.
Yes.
I could pretty much say the entire movie while I watch it. I still like Godfather and Godfather 2 better, but it's really damn close.
Yeah, I would agree. That's very well said. And we will get you out on our musical note of the day. Today we honor and pay tribute to Jimi Hendrix, who died this week back in 1970. He was 27 years old. Considered the greatest guitarist in rock history by many. Hendrix is an icon of the genre in every sense of the word. This is The Wind Cries Mary. Rest in peace, Jimi Hendrix.
The discussion of best guitarist ever goes long. Everyone's got their favorite. There's 15 or 20 that are on every list. This is the greatest guitarist ever. There's only one that's on every top 5 list, top 6 list. The great Jimi Hendrix. Well done, as always.
Thank you.
When we come back, let's talk FSU football. Rick Balo joins us. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve. 1010XL Weekly is your one-stop shop for all things Jags, college ball, preps, and more. Subscribe to our newsletter today, and you'll be entered to win free tickets to the Packers game this October. Subscribe, just head on over to 1010XL.com and scroll down to the 1010XL Weekly flash page.
Bold City AC, keeping you cool.
Feeling the heat, Jacksonville? Cool down with Bold City Heating and Air. From repairs to energy-efficient installs, we do it all. Your system worked hard all summer long to keep you cool. Give it a spa day. Schedule a system tune-up. Call Bold City Heating and Air today and experience the bold difference.
Bold City AC, keeping you cool. Bold City AC.
Visit boldcityac.com.
Looking for a new vehicle? Take a look at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. Now's the time to save big this summer. Choose from more than 250 new and over 1,000 used and certified pre-owned vehicles on the lot, or shop anytime at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. Hyundai has one of the top warranties in the business. Lifetime powertrain and a 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, plus 3 years free maintenance on a new vehicle. Give us the opportunity to earn your business today. Atlantic Boulevard, Jacksonville, or visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. Welcome to the family.
Now, the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Gator Injury Report.
Standout sophomore wide receiver Eugene Wilson III will miss his second consecutive game this Saturday, still dealing with an undisclosed injury. It's still unclear if freshman wide receiver Tank Hawkins will be ready to go for Saturday's game, which would be another big loss for the Gator receiving corps. On the defensive side of the ball, defensive back Aaron Gates and defensive lineman Joey Slackman have also been ruled out for this week's game. I'm Max Fink with your Gator Injury Report, presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Our monthly card show Inside Showtime is this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. A strong selection of sports cards with around 20 tables of our vendors. Card show this Saturday from 9 to 4. Inside Showtime. Sports cards and collectibles. Update your collection.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
It's soccer around the world, and here at home on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour on 1010XL. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk.
Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 AM.
Big Chief Tire makes auto care affordable with 6-month financing on their CFNA card, plus $50 off your next service. Frank Frangie here. With no interest for 6 months, now is the perfect time to take care of your vehicle. Whether you need new tires, brakes, or general checkup, their skilled technicians have you covered. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to learn more and schedule an appointment at one of their 5 locations. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Are you tired of having a plain and boring backyard? Really want to impress your family and friends this year? Then stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway. Imagine hosting guests at your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new pergola. Stone Core can also remodel your old pool deck and beautiful new pavers. Make your backyard wishes a reality. Visit Stone Core on Phillips Highway and let's get started at stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
We're back! Mia here, and winning season is back. Football is back, and MyBookie is here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions, like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays, where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big. If it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. That's just the beginning, folks. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super Survivor and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for your shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus. When you're ready to get started, just use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit. You heard that right. Double your money with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Not to mention, loyalty pays off with MyBookie Plus. The more you play, the more you win. Climb through tiers of loyalty rewards programs to unlock even more epic promotions. Only with MyBookie.
They're out to test our reputation as the best plumber in Jacks, so we gotta play like the experts we are. Now, who are we?
Roland Reach Plumbing!
Now that's what a winner sounds like.
Customers always win with Roland Reach Plumbing at plumberinjacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now, the Seminole Point of View with Rick Balo. Brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard. Dream it, drive it.
We talk a lot of Gators around here, and nobody knows the Seminoles better than my pal Rick Ballou, and tough start for the year. So Rick's agreed to join some of the shows a couple times a week. Ricky, main question. Do you pull the plug on DJU? Do you at least get Brock Glenn some work against Cal? Don't you have to, Rick?
You would think so, but that's not what Mike Norvell's
going to do. Mike Norvell is trying to win a game. He thinks DJU gives the best chance to win. Brock Glenn is not taking a step forward in practice. He's pretty erratic. We saw that last year late, certainly against, particularly against Georgia and as well in some stints against Louisville. So, yeah, I still think Luke Kromenhoek is really the only opportunity they have to do something significant, and that's probably a year away in 2025. I think the only way Brock Glenn comes in is all of a sudden if you look up on Saturday night and it's 24-7 Cal, something like that, then maybe a decision is forced to be made. But if it's a one-possession game and you're going back and forth, and even if Florida State's struggling on offense, I think Mike Norvell's going to stay with DJU.
But having said all that, if that's, and I hear you, I probably agree with you. I probably agree that's what he's going to do. I would get somebody else ready. That's what I would do. But now if you don't get Luke ready, forget Brock for a second, but if you don't get Luke ready, you're kind of thinking portal again next year, right, Rick? I mean, isn't that where this thing's kind of headed, portal after portal after portal quarterback?
Well, it's a terrible track record for Mike Norvell. I mean, you can go through A.J. Duffy, and you can take a look at Tate Rodemaker and Shepard Purdy and, all these quarterbacks, Mackenzie Milton. It worked with Travis. Yep. He inherited Blackman, and that didn't work. But he has yet to prove that he can do anything in Tallahassee with a quarterback not named Jordan Travis. So I would think so, because if you go through this year and you play DJU, and then all of a sudden the season's over, and you still don't know if Brock Glenn can play, you still don't know if Luke Kromenhoek can play, then you tell this fan base, all right, we're going to have them win it in the spring or have them win it during fall drills. That is so problematic, because you're talking about two quarterbacks with no experience. I mean, backup quarterbacks aren't going to play because Florida State's not going to blow anyone out, so they get an opportunity. So if you stay with DJU, then, you're faced with that. So I think going out, spending a lot of money, bringing in another transfer portal quarterback is absolutely part of the plan if DJU remains the quarterback for this season.
Rick, why do you think the ground game is so woeful right now?
The offensive line has really been bad, and that's the biggest surprise, even more than DJU and anything else. I didn't think the receiver corps would be good. I've been talking about that for a couple of years, but they're just not able to run the football, and I think part of it is coaching. You can go back to Georgia Tech in week 0, and they went to 5 tailbacks on their first 2 drives, and on that first drive they scored with Roydell Williams, and it was a touchdown pass to Lawrence Toafili. He should be getting the ball. Those should be the 2 guys getting the ball. And then they tried Lucas, and they tried Keziah Holmes, and they tried the true freshman and Cam Davis, who I think is their future. But it's almost like you have too many guys instead of just settling on a couple of them. And you know how it is when you're a back. I mean, it's almost like being a position player in baseball, and you get one at bat, and you ground out hard to shortstop, but you really put good wood on the ball, and then all of a sudden your knucklehead manager's like, oh, I've seen enough, let's pinch hit when he comes up for a second at bat. And I think getting 5 running backs involved so early was a major mistake, coaching-wise, for Mike Norvell. Stay with just a couple of guys, keep giving them the football. And then last week, you had that huge fumble. It was on the 3rd play of the game. Roydell Williams does a nice carry to start things. He does what you cannot do by coughing up the football. So, very perplexed by the lack of the running attack so far this year.
I would play Cam Davis. He's only got 9 carries. He's 230. He's physical. He's young. You're not going anywhere this year, Rick. I know Toafili's a veteran, and I would use him as a 3rd down bound back or whatever. I think Roydell Williams is just okay. I'd play the freshman and see what you got. I mean, he's a big physical guy. He looks like an NFL back to me.
Yeah, I haven't seen Roydell Williams break a tackle yet.
No.
I mean, as soon as he gets hit, he goes down. Davis is the future, and I'm with you. I'm with you with all these young guys. And, I think that's the way that the media thinks. I know that that's the way right now that Florida State fans think, because I've spoken with many of them. They would love to see Cam Davis, but I still think that Mike Norvell wants a win so desperately that he feels that Williams and Toafili and DJU and the veterans are going to give them a better chance to knock off Cal than going with the youth movement. But, I mean, it's got to happen sooner or later. It's been an interesting week in Tallahassee where you've seen some young guys make some comments on social media, even verbally. Edwin Joseph came out and said, if you don't want to be here, go home. There was an awful look of Benson running by Patrick Payton, who's just kind of slowly walking onto the practice field like he doesn't want to be there. And that's been the body language for a guy that some felt would go in the first round. And you look at him today. I just watched it before you guys called. They're all smiling and laughing. I mean, if you didn't know, you would think this was a 3-0 Florida State team, not a 0-3 team. Now, I don't know if it's good that they're loose and they're smiling like the world continues. I think old school guys like me are like, are you kidding me? You haven't won a game. Your life should be absolutely miserable, but that's not the way it is right now over there in God's country.
What challenges do Cal, the Bears, present to the Noles, you think?
Well, the good news for Florida State is that California is about 19,000 miles away. So there's going to be a little bit of jet lag in this contest. And the bad news is you get them at night. So, they'll have an opportunity as young athletes to get over that. Now, typically, you want a night game in Tallahassee. It gives that fan base an opportunity to get liquored up and get loud. I mean, they've had games that have been played at noon so far this year, and they have not played well. Cal's a real interesting team. They make a lot of mistakes. They are very heavily penalized. They do throw it around. I've noticed that they've missed 4 field goals in an era now where guys are just hitting 50-yarders time and again. This is a team that is not as good as its record. They did knock off an Auburn team, which we're trying to figure out, and I guess we'll have a better understanding about them when they face Arkansas this weekend. But, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've done the deep dive on Cal. My final deep dive was last week against Memphis. And after that, I was like, the effort for an opponent is something that I've always done. But when Florida State is performing the way that they are, I kind of sat this one out, if you will. Still figuring out why in the hell Cal is a part of the Atlantic Coast Conference, which in itself is a joke. So, we'll see. They've always been a team that obviously has a lot of smart people, a lot of smart individuals, and usually out there it's a very good passing offense, and defense always seems to be the problem for those lower echelon clubs in the Pac-12.
I'll tell you this, Rick. My buddy Roxy Bernstein with ESPN, and he lives in California. He does a lot of ESPN basketball games. He used to do Pac-12 network football games. He was kind of the Tom Hart of the Pac-12 network. He's a Cal grad, and he's a diehard like we all are, like you are with the Noles and we are with the Gators. He's a diehard, and he lives the pain of it because they're usually not very good. He thinks this is the best Cal team in 20 years. He said defensively, it's the first time they've had a team that looks like one of the good defensive teams. And offensively, they can't make field goals, and they're just okay. But he feels like, Rick, defensively, it's a really good Cal team. Now, we'll find out. They got to play FSU, Miami. They got to, we'll see. But he feels like defensively they got to go like a legitimately good team.
We'll see. I mean, Californians in Stanford were supposed to be, 2 really weak programs coming in. If you look where they were ranked when the media voted on them coming in to begin the year. But, we'll see. Right now, I have to pick Cal. Again, even with not a tremendous amount of understanding. I did watch them late the other night against San Diego State, and I thought it was kind of a sloppy game.
Yeah.
It wasn't that interesting of a football game, and it didn't start till 10:30 at night. And I've always been a Pac-12 after dark guy, but this one was certainly anything but thrilling. But I think right now you got to be honest about it. Until Florida State wins a game, you have to pick their opponent.
Yeah, 3-0 versus 0-3. No matter how you look at it, those are the schedules. Rick Balo, talking Florida State football. He'll do it every other week with us here on the program. Rick, we appreciate it, buddy. Thanks, man.
All right, guys. See you in a little bit.
Rick Balo talking Cal football. It is pretty bizarre that this FSU team, they play Cal. It's hard not to pick Cal as we sit here today. They go to SMU, who for SMU is pretty good. Okay, home against Clemson. All right. Still Clemson. Ranked Clemson. On the road on a Friday night against Duke. It's one of those Friday nighter road games. On the road at Miami.
Oof.
Okay. Home against North Carolina, who you made the best point 2 weeks ago. These are going to have athletes. Whether their program's good or not, they're going to have athletes. On the road at Notre Dame.
Hey, Northern Illinois won there.
Yeah. They honest to God, they're going to beat Charleston Southern at the end of the year, and they're going to beat Florida at the end of the year. But because those two teams about even. But I mean, okay. I mean, pick which one. And they're going to get some of these games. They're not going to go 0-10 before they play Charleston Southern and Florida. I'm not saying that. But boy, they could be 3-7 by the time they get Charleston Southern and Florida. They could be 2-8 by the time Charleston Southern and Florida get there.
Without a doubt. I mean, I'm going to pick Cal. I just, knowing very little about them, I've watched Florida State 3 times now, and offensively, they're a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, they're worse than Florida. Florida offensively at least has a couple things that they can lean on. I haven't seen anything out of Florida State offensively that's remotely redeemable. It's not just the quarterback. The offensive line is shocking how underperforming the Noles offensive line is, and it just now seems discombobulated, and obviously Uiagalelei doesn't help. But yeah, it'd be hard for me to see Florida State's offense evolving to becoming an average unit. It looks like they just don't have anything they can count on. So yeah, I mean, I think Cal's going to win the game. It's hard not to. And then when you look down that schedule, I don't know that there's going to be very many games that I'm going to be picking Florida State until they get to those final 2.
We'll take a break. 1 segment to go. We'll wrap the program, then we'll turn it over to our friends at Jaguars Happy Hour as well as the Doug Peterson Show. That's after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
At Garber Auto Mall, we can wiggle it. Best price, we can wiggle it. Best trade value, we can wiggle it. Best payment, we can wiggle it. Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, with 8 American brands, we can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or online at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
When you're shopping for insurance, you might say, "What?
Huh? I'm so over this."
But what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this.
Call State Farm agent Mike Tousell in Jacksonville at 425-4100.
Are you ready to upgrade your home? Experience the winning combination of style and performance with Renewal by Andersen energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Buy one, get one 40% off replacement windows and doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires September 30th and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
Hey folks, Rick Balo here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Like to learn how to fly an airplane?
Well, you're not alone. High Flying Jacko here, inviting you to listen Sunday morning. We'll start your aviation career with a 60-minute ride on the airwaves of 1010XL. The High Flying Show, Sunday at 9 on 1010XL.
Attention poker enthusiasts. The Ladies International Poker Series celebrates its 20th anniversary at Best Bet Jacksonville, September 20th to 22nd. The highlights include a World Poker Tour mega satellite, free Q&A session with the First Lady of Poker, Linda Johnson, and Women's Poker Hall of Famer, Jan Fisher. There's also a $300 Ladies Championship No Limit Hold'em tournament and the $200 Kings and Queens event. Don't miss this action-packed weekend. For full details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet Jacksonville, where the cards are hot.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
In its final year, we encourage you to help create great futures for young people when you run or walk at Mackenzie's Run, Saturday, November 23rd. Join Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for a 5K and 1 mile fun run through the beautiful stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Enjoy food, live music, face painting, family fun, and more at our Runners Village. Register at mackenziesrun.org. Mackenzie's 5K and Fun Run, November 23rd. mackenziesrun.org.
Are you feeling the heat? It's time to cool things down with Duck Duck Air Conditioning. Contact us today at 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckac.com. Duck Duck Air Conditioning to keep you cool and comfortable all year round.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Craving a cold one? Well, zip into one of the great gate locations you see all over town and pick up a cold Bud Light, or a Natty, or an Ultra, maybe a 12-pack of the King of Beers, or some cold Coronas. It's all happening at your local gate convenience store. Slide on in today.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows and $2.95.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey everyone, it's football season and we wanted to go to the drawing board to make this year's predictions. Let's compare our 2 blonde all-stars. Most touchdowns, best pricing in the market. Most passing yards, gives the most for your trade. Most receptions, free oil changes with every purchase. Super Bowl champion, wow customer service. This looks like a winning season for everyone. Come see Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville where you can score big all season long.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson this morning on The Opportunity Monday night against the Buffalo Bills.
I think it's good for our team. I think obviously it's a great opportunity to go on the road. Really a great atmosphere for football. It's a Monday night game. The fans are going to be juiced up and ready to go, and it'll be good for us. I mean, it's a benchmark. It's a measuring stick game, right now, and great for our players to be, in these when we need to be in these atmospheres. We need to be in these situations more, and this is a great opportunity for them.
Doug Peterson this morning, courtesy of Jaguars.com. Jags at Bills, Monday night at 7:30. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Cleaning up with Hays is made spotless by Molly Maid.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSalva, I'm Hays Carlyon. I would like to see, starting with Monday night's game at Buffalo, a Jaguar offense that is playing with pace, with tempo, which will lead to less thinking and, more importantly, less time to react from the opposing defense, in this case, the Bills. Frank, we've talked a lot about this. You've mentioned it. I think you're dead on with it. They have got to get faster. I think that will help Trevor Lawrence. It will help that array of receivers. The franchise quarterback was asked about this earlier today with reporters, and this was his response.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good to get and stay in a rhythm. If you start kind of rolling on offense and you hit a couple plays, it's always nice getting on the ball and going and attacking the defense. You feel like you get them on their heels a little bit because that's hard. You're playing a defense and they're used to you huddling every play. They can huddle. They can get set. They can get their call. You get up to the line. You're snapping it with less than 10 seconds every time on the clock, and it's just that same repetitive rhythm. But then when a team goes up tempo, it changes for the defense, and they have to get their calls in faster. A lot goes into it, but I think tempo is great. I've always loved that. Really, my whole time playing, I've been a fan of it.
And Trevor went on to say that you're simplifying the defense because the defense has to play fast. So it's hard for them to get to all the exotic coverages and pressures that they've mapped out because it just requires more communication. So I like what Trevor is saying there, and I like the way that he's describing it, that offensively they feel a little bit too, if you kind of, read to what he's saying here, you get into that repetitive rhythm as an offense when you're playing more slow and deliberate. And, I think that is working against the offense. I think you could make the case that in some of these problems could be overthinking it, but also giving the defense all that time to look at the formation, see what's there, and have those players communicate back and forth to each other on how they want to attack it.
It'll be interesting to see if they do. Tempo is a lot of fun to watch as well. No question about that. All right, where have we been today, JJ?
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
We began the program talking Jaguar football and the importance, I think, of splitting these next two. If you can find a way to get one of these on the road, you're 1-3 then. Come back, then I think you have a good chance to win 3 in a row. I think they're going to beat the Colts, and I think they're going to win twice in London. That's my opinion. So if you can split these two, I don't think it's the end of the world to start 1-3 because I think you can look up and be 4-3. That's my opinion. They play very well in London. They won both games in London last year. They're accustomed to that trip. The Falcons, the Patriots, and the Bears will not be. I think it's critically important. Just get one of these two, and then you got to come home and beat the Colts. I think if you get to 4-3 with 10 games to play, that's normal. That's a normal start for a team that has a good chance to make the playoffs. So you knew the schedule was going to be hard to start, tough 4 games, and that's my thought on that. Greg McGarity stopped by from the Gator Bowl Association. He talked about the difficulty of Florida State in all likelihood not being in it. And he didn't say that. Those are my words, but it would be difficult if they're not. Which teams he needs. He's going to keep an eye certainly on Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a team would be interesting if they came here, and which SEC team can get here. We talked about that with him. And, of course, Rick Balo stopped by to talk Florida State football. He'll do that every couple of weeks with us as we talk about the Noles. All right. We got about 5-6 minutes to go here in the program. I was in school, and I've said this before on the program, but let me reemphasize this for you, Hays. I was in school in 1979. They wrote 10-1. And you kind of knew they had no chance in every game. When you're 10-1, you pretty much don't. I can remember my friend Brian Clark was an excellent kicker. They tied Georgia in the second game of the year. They tied Georgia. They played at Houston to start the season and lost, but played pretty well. Lost game 2 to Georgia Tech, or tied game 2 to Georgia Tech 7-7. The Florida had a field goal to win it at the end of the game. Brian Clark, again, a buddy of mine who's a really good kicker, had it blocked. We later found out that Lawrence Lowe, the Georgia Tech player that blocked it, jumped on the back of his lineman, which has been illegal forever. Looked like Superman coming over the pile, and they blocked it. I remember playing Tulsa in the homecoming game, and losing 20-10. Darrell Williams, a running back from Jacksonville, great player from Jacksonville Wolfson,
I had a big game, but they lost 20-10. And then I remember at the end of the year playing a really good, undefeated FSU team. FSU was 10-0 at the time, back when you played 11 games. And probably should have beaten them. They had a bad call go against them, and you finished 0-10-1. Played 5 quarterbacks.
What was the swamp like back then? Like,
Well,
what was the capacity? What was the
capacity? Would have been
72.
Less than that, like mid-60s, and then it moved. Then they gained 50, went to 80 when Pell got there, and then 90 in the Spurrier years. But JJ wasn't a good program. They had never been very good. They had been. I mean, people don't realize before Spurrier got there, they were never good.
So when did it start getting packed like every single week?
They sold it out.
Oh, did they? Okay, wow, that's impressive.
But it was 65,000.
Right.
They always drew well.
Which is about the size, just to give you an idea, of Ole Miss's stadium right now.
That's correct.
Right.
And then it got to where they grew all the way to 82,000 when Pell got there in the 80s, and then to 90,000 in the Spurrier years. But it was never a good program. But I can remember the point of the story is how helpless you felt every game. Every game you felt like we're going to go, but there's no way we can win. Alabama beat them 40-0, in Gainesville.
And that was when you just ran the ball all the time.
Right. That's right. So I remember thinking every game you showed up, they had no chance to win. I haven't felt like that about a Florida football team till now. I mean, this is very much like that 0-10-1 team that every time they played, I watched that game with some buddies. You were there. Hays and I, and about 5, 6 of us were watching, all Gator fans, watching the Florida A&M game last week. And my buddy Randy, my buddy Donnie were both in Florida when I was. We're all the same age. And you knew then when you went, there was no chance to win. Well, we felt that way last week. Didn't you feel that we're all sitting there laughing?
Before the game, none of us had any confidence. And then it somehow got lower as the game progressed.
It's almost a freeing feeling.
Yeah. Well,
well, then I'd rather be in jail.
But there's something to that. It's an awful feeling, but it takes the suspense out. That's what you're saying.
Like the pressure that I am putting on like for this game on Saturday when my team's playing USF. All week I've been like, imagine if we lose this game, like how terrible it would be. You guys don't have that. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, well, but and I've had a lot of teams that I root for that I think probably will lose, but could win. I don't. They're playing a bad Mississippi State team that just allowed 41 at home to Toledo. And I don't think there's any chance Florida can win that game. I'm not trying to exaggerate or being poor me guy. It's just my honest assessment.
How could you not feel like that?
I don't think there's any chance.
I don't think they're going to win another game. I honestly don't think. I think they're going to finish 1-11.
Yeah. They could fall into one because football's like that nowadays. They could shock. I mean, they were lousy last year and then almost beat Missouri. So you could fall into one.
I think this team though has even like
I do too.
It doesn't seem to be any fire. This is another aspect of this team that, and obviously Trey Wilson with it coming out today that he's having knee surgery. Like they've also been ravaged by injury. Now it's not going to be enough to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it is something that they lost Mertz like late last year, and certainly hurt them in the Florida State game, but I just think the team is worse. To me, if the Florida team last year played the Florida team this year, I think last year's Florida team wins the game by 10 points.
Well, here's how you know that. Last year's team had about 3 or 4 first-rounders. Ricky Pearsall is a first-rounder.
Great point.
Trey Wilson is probably a first-rounder. Trevor Etienne is probably a first-rounder.
Yeah.
That team, or possibly. Yeah. That team had first-round talent. I mean, I can promise you, Trevor Etienne, Ricky Pearsall, Trey Wilson. That's 3 guys infinitely better. Princely, I just saw him on a mock draft in the first round. So that's 4 guys. That's 4. One's already been a first rounder. There's 3 other guys who could be a first rounder. This team's got nothing like that.
No.
They have nobody as good as Princely, Trey, Pearsall, Trevor Etienne. Nothing like that. So that's how much better that team was than this team. 4 really good players now, 0. I mean, I've really gone through the roster. Shamar James might play in the league. I'm trying to find guys that I think, okay, that guy could. Austin Barber make a team, but there isn't much, man. There's just not much there.
There isn't. I mean,
there's just not many good players.
I'm not a Boardingham guy.
Yeah, I don't think Arliss Boardingham is headed to the league.
Nothing like this has ever happened in my lifetime. I'm old enough I used to read all the media guides that would come out for the Gators every year. And so, I knew the history of the program, even though I hadn't lived through it. And the 79, 010, and 1 always jumped off the page every year as I would go through it as a kid. But I never dreamed that I would ever endure what this has become.
Yeah.
Because you're right. They fall into a game. But at best, this is a 3-9 team.
Oh, at
best,
that's the ceiling,
right?
And that's a ceiling they may not reach. And just again, not since 010 and 1 when I was a junior in college has it felt this way. So, folks, that's our program. Don't go anywhere. More Jaguar talk coming up. Jaguar Happy Hour. JP and Jeff will have that for you, and that'll include the Doug Peterson Show. The coach stops by as well. We're out here tomorrow. We'll see you back at 4:00 for Hays and JJ. I'm Frank Frangie. So long.